Morning guys, and we're back outside. Today we have a pre-tune inspection, and I think this is going to be an important video to go over and talk about. So that's what we're going to be doing. What is all needed for a pre-tune inspection, or what should you look at when you're taking your car in to get tuned? And I think this is going to be a very common thing that everyone can relate to and a good checklist to go over. So let's get started today, but first let's check out a car we're going to be working with, guys. So here we have it. We have a 2015 plus STI. This is going to be a 15 to 17. I'll have to check to see which year, but same thing for those years. And we do have our basic stage 2 mods on it. So let's get this hood open and take a look, guys. Alright guys, so we're under the hood here, and the very first thing I'm noticing when I'm looking at this, it has a broken engine mount, guys. Take a look at this. See how the motor is sitting crooked like that? Look at the intercooler, there to there. So definitely have to relay that to him. This thing's going to need new motor mounts. Things that can cause this is obviously launching the car. If you launch it pretty hard, what this is called, it will stack the motor mount. So I will end up having to show you guys what I'm talking about, maybe not being in this video, but it definitely needs a new motor mount. So that's the first thing I noticed. Second thing I'm noticing here, we have a AEM cold air intake, and he did tell me he has a downpipe on it as well. So taking the rest look, it looks like we have a Go Fast Bits blow valve on here. Yeah, looks, other than that, it looks pretty much stock. But let's start our checklist, guys, of what we're going to be doing. First is just the overlook, obviously, and that's where we notice the engine mount. That's going to be an important one. But another good thing to look at is look down here and just see how much oil is down there or any blow by, because that would raise a concern. Obviously, we're going to be checking our oil level, our coolant level. We are also going to be pulling this mass airflow sensor out and cleaning that, because you guys know how picky I am about that. So we're going to make sure it's clean, so that way the tune is spot on from day one. That way it's not like we tune it with a dirty math, then you clean it and the tune's off. So that's a good tip for you guys. Clean your mass airflow sensor. And then what we're going to be doing is we got to start this car up. We got to start it up and let it warm all the way up so we can do the compression test, because it needs to be at operating temperature to get our correct results. So that's what we're going to do now. Let's get this thing fired up and let it warm up. Now that this thing's at full operating temperature, we can go ahead and get this compression test all knocked out. We're going to be pulling out the coil packs on this thing. We got to pull the battery out, and then we can get to these coil packs. Obviously this side's going to be up higher for us anyways, because the motor mount. So that'll make this side easier, I guess. But let's get this battery out. Might have to pull the intake to get that sensor out, we'll see. And get to the coil packs. Might be able to leave it. I think I might be able to leave it. It's just going to make it a little bit harder. But let's get to it, guys. Alright guys, so what we're looking at here is we got the spark plug, and hopefully this thing's staying in focus, but they look like they have never been replaced. This car has about 40,000 miles on it. I think it's 39,000. And you're starting to see some heat down in the center probe there. And what I'm really looking at is the center, the probe that obviously is igniting, is a little bit crooked on it. So I'm going to recommend that we do replace these, put a new set of spark plugs in it. We're already here, so this is the perfect time, saves them some money. So I'm going to let them know, but just a tip for you guys, it's always a good idea to replace these. and make sure that they're in proper health, and obviously it's the health of the motor. This is the heart of it. We're right here where you're igniting the fuel. So these are important to replace. I like to replace them about every 15,000 miles, at least check them. So we'll let them know, and let's get back to work, guys. So as I'm over here on the passenger side and I was getting ready to pull these spark plugs out so we can do that compression test, I want to go maneuver this intake here, right? So you're trying to unplug the mass airflow sensor, because I already told you guys we're pulling this out. But take a look at this, guys. Look at this. See that? How it's moving back and forth. And right there you can see, if this thing will focus on, I know I have a hard time with this sometimes, but it's not even bolted all the way down, guys. So this is very important. If we have any leak here, what's going to end up happening is, like I've told you guys many in the past, I know I have subscribers that are like, you've already told us, but for everyone that's new, if this is loose or if it is dirty, that is not going to give your car the correct air fuel mixture to it, and this reads off a voltage, so it can't change its voltage correctly to give your car the proper fuel for the motor. So it's very important. That's why this sensor is important, guys. This is the heart of your motor, 100% right here. So if this is like this, that means that you could be experiencing a very lean condition. Yes, it could go in a rich way too, and yes, being too rich can hurt the motor as well. So we're going to take care of that, obviously, and I'm going to let him know. But I just wanted to show you guys that as I'm continuing here and going and looking over everything. So glad we caught that now. That is why those are important. Let's fix it. Oh man, guys, it's a miracle. Look what we got. Woo! Finally, that's how you know Corona's almost over. They got our gloves in stock again. Plus, there's the spark plugs I run. Also, let me put these down real quick, guys. For anything really 500 wheel and less, the factory plug gap's fine. I don't really have to start messing with plug gap until you're getting around the 30-pound mark, and you can drop it down anywhere from 0.022 to 0.026 if you really want, but these will be good to go for that car. That's just a stage 2 car. So let's get those thrown in, and then we will be able to start tuning, guys. Also, as far as the engine mount goes, the customer gave us the okay to do the spark plugs and the engine mount, so we are going to get that fixed today as well. So I will be showing you guys what we're going to have to do. I did actually have an engine mount video, so if you guys want to, I'll link that over here if you want to see how to do it. But we'll get that taken care of. We'll get this thing tuned and get it back to the customer. Alright guys, we got that all knocked out. Car's back together. I got the base map from Steve for the car. I'm just letting it warm up right now, and we're doing the idle log for him. So when we first start the tuning process, we're going to be doing a 5-minute idle log. Sorry, I'm getting in the car here. So we're going to do our 5-minute idle log, and after that we're just going to do some cruising, so some normal driving around. That way I can have a log of that. We also are going to do a 4th gear pull for him. That way he can see what's going on, and this will be the first map that we have. I also have my wideband right here, so that way we can see what the car is doing for air fuel, because you can't really trust the front O2 sensor on these. Yes, it will work, but they're not accurate. So just letting the car warm up here. Once they're all warmed up, I will go ahead and do some cruising, and I'll keep you guys updated. Now that we got the idle log all finished up, let's go do some cruising, knock that out, get the drivability all spot on for this customer, and then we'll start working on the pulls, guys. So we're out here cruising along, and just so you can see for drivability, I have the wideband right here, so I'm just tipping into it. You can see a change. This is the first map revision, Access Port's right up there. Everyone kind of changes where they have their mounts, but we have this here. I'm just going over that, getting this log for Steve, and we'll get this sent over to him, guys. Alright guys, we got that tune all knocked out, all finished up. It's on 18 PSI, and this is just a simple stage 2 car. Just has an intake and a catless NVIDIA downpipe, and With the stock injectors, they do max out pretty quickly, so went ahead, left it safe. Car made 273 wheel horsepower and 287 wheel torque on that 18 psi. I'll go ahead and put the graph in right here for you guys so you can see that's calibrated to our low reading Mustang dyno. So some of you will be like, well, what the hell, why does it not make 300? I've talked about it before. It's calibrated to the low reading Mustang dyno, so I just give lower numbers than most, but play with this car on the street, things might go differently. So now that we're back, that's all finished up, we can go ahead and get our wideband out of the car now because we no longer need that, and we are gonna get the fix for this crooked engine because customer gave us the okay to go ahead, get that new engine mount in there. And for those of you wondering which plugs we use for this, here's what we use. In it is NGK Iridium. There's the part number for you. Usually I would go to a one step colder, but for a simple stage 2 car there really is no point to do so. So we just went ahead and put those 6s in stock heat range, and look what we got, guys. Oh man, that means Corona must be almost over because finally we got the golden box of gloves. So pretty happy about that. I'm gonna go ahead, get this car up in the air, and I will show you guys what this engine mount looks like, and let's get this fixed so the customer can get his car back. There you go, guys. You can kind of see here. See how sideways that pitch top mount there is? So you take a look. Gosh, where can I put it? Pretty sure you can see. It's definitely like that. That's from this side of the engine being propped up. I know you guys can see it. It's crooked. So to do the engine mounts, we need to unhook this, which is going to be kind of a chore since it has so much pressure on it right now. But I'm going to get that out, lift it up, or remove completely, and then we'll be able to go underneath the car, undo the engine mounts, and jack this thing up. Alright, since we got that pitch stop mount off up top, now we can move to the bottom of the car, and we already got the skid plate and shield off. So rolling under here, guys, this is what I mean when I say an engine mount is stacked. See this here? This is the actual mount. That's your plate to your motor. This is the other portion to the mount. This right there is a stopper for this metal plate. It has a rubber part of the mount, obviously, that's glued to this other part of this frame, and this little stopper here is supposed to make it to where this isn't possible. This is directly from launching the car too hard and either sidestepping or clutch kicking or something like that. This is definitely what that's from. Obviously a stock engine mount's just not made for that. You could switch to an aftermarket mount and this won't happen. This is pretty common. This happens. You move over to this side and you can see what I'm talking about. See here how we have that, and then we have the other stopper side. So it definitely has hit it. This side doesn't look nearly as tore up, so looks like we're just sticking with doing the one side that we need to right here. So to do this, like I've showed you guys before, and I said I would link that video in so you guys can watch it, but we need to take off this nut here, we need to take off the other nut even though we're not replacing it, and then we'll jack up right here on this manifold, get the motor up high enough that we can get to that mount and get that out and swap it out. I will show you guys as soon as I get it out what it looks like. Alright, we got that motor mount out of the car, and they're not the most fun, guys, but you can see here, this is what I'm talking about, how it has the rubber down there, and this is supposed to be on here like so. So you put that on, looks like so, then it has that stopper on that side, guys, you can see here, boom, but that's how it was. So this mount, no good. So that's how it's supposed to look. We got a brand new one here ready to go on. Just 2 nuts on the back side of this. We're gonna get those off. You can see there, 2 studs. Put it on, and we can get this thing back together, guys. There we have it, guys. We got this thing all back together, and you can see now we're nice and even, way it should be. I'm gonna go ahead and do a courtesy engine bay clean on this thing, because you can see it's looking pretty dirty, which that's what happened. So let's go get this thing all cleaned, and it'll be all ready for him to pick up. There we have it, guys. We got that engine bay all cleaned up. This car is all ready to go. I did recommend a switch to the oil that we use. This is the VR1 Valvoline racing oil, because the motor does sound a little bit noisier than it should. So I recommended that to him. Also did recommend a transmission service on it. He said he had the 30,000 mile service, which is a transmission flush done, but I'm sure it still has the factory fluid in it, and the trans does feel pretty notchy. So went ahead, recommended those to him. I haven't heard back, so I think he's just going to pick up the car the way it is, or maybe do it himself. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is kind of a checklist to show you what you should do before you go and do a tune, or showing you kind of what our pre-tune inspection is and going over the car, and then also showed you that engine mount and cleaning up the engine bay. So hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you next time.